Today we're talking about chakras. If this interests you, stick around and let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Veronica and welcome to the Wholeness Shift. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm glad that you found me. I talk about easy, practical spirituality, intentional living. I help you navigate your spiritual awakening. So if these things interest you, hit the subscribe button below. I wouldn't want you to miss out on anything good. If you haven't yet, go check out Club Shift. If you are newly awakening, you have nobody in your life that you can really talk to about spiritual matters, I have a little community. You can sign up on my website and all the details are in the description below, where you can join, and we meet twice a month. We chit chat about all kinds of topics related to spirituality. There's others, extras and bonuses, and meditations and all kinds of resources that I post over there. We also have a Facebook group. And the thing is that you can participate in all of it or none of it. The live meetings are recorded and you can watch them. You can watch the replay on your own if you don't want to participate. So it's totally up to you. But if you are looking for some kind of a support system or a little community, that might be right up your alley. Go check it out. Chakras. Let's get into it. If you've heard of them but aren't sure what they are, you've never heard of them and you don't know what I'm talking about, let's start at the beginning and just cover the basics. This is going to be part of a series that I'm creating, a chakra series. I already have some like this, but they're like 5 years old. So I am going to remake some of them so that they're more current in the timeline and they're easily found. So I'm going to be making a chakra series that covers all of the chakras, and you can find the ones that have already been made in the chakra playlist that I will be creating and putting on my channel. So first things first, the baseline thing that we all need to agree on is that everything is energy, right? Einstein, E equals MC squared, quantum physics, all the things point to the fact that everything is energy. Everything. You are, I am, this table is. Everything is energy. It just takes different forms. It's configured in a different way to make it gas, solid, thought. Everything is energy. So let's start there. And this is important stuff. So whether you totally understand it or not is beside the point. It affects your life whether you understand it or not. So it's important that you attempt to at least learn some kind of a baseline knowledge of what some of this stuff means, because it affects you and affects your life. So since everything is energy, that means that we are energetic beings, right? You are and I am. We are energetic beings. And so we are continuously putting out and taking in energy from the universe, from our environment, from all the subtle energies in the room and the people around us. It's a constant energy exchange. When you pray for someone, the energy goes out. When you request healing for yourself and pray for yourself, the energy flows in. See what I'm saying? So the same way that your heart handles the blood flow, blood comes in, blood goes out. The same way that your lungs handle the gas exchange for your body, air comes in, air comes out, right? Your chakras are essentially the organ or the portal that handles the energy exchange. Energy comes in, energy goes out, okay? In its simplest terms, a chakra is a spinning wheel of energy that is a portal where all of the energy from the universe or your environment or whatever comes in, it enters and exits through your auric field. There are actually many, many, many chakras. You have a lot of chakras, but the main focus tends to typically be on the 7 main chakras of the human body. So we'll quickly cover those today. That's what we're going to focus on today. The purpose of this video and for the series that I'm creating is because I really want you to start, if this is a new concept to you, I really want you to start focusing on, I want you to wrap your mind around what they are, what they do, and exactly how they're affecting your body, or how you can use them as a tool to create change in your life or your body, or to bring healing, or to get yourself more in alignment. So when you are talking about or referring to the chakras, you're going to start from the bottom up, meaning that when you reference your first chakra, that's going to be at the bottom. It's going to be your root chakra, which is like right by your tailbone. Okay, and then the second chakra is called your sacral chakra, and it is right by the pubic area, right by your pelvic area, where like a woman's uterus or womb would be, where your bladder is, you know, that area down there. The third chakra is your solar plexus chakra, and it's here in your belly. Fourth chakra is your heart chakra, right by your heart. A lot of people feel the energy right midline in the middle of their chest. I feel it more over here, a little bit to the left. Everybody's different. Your fifth chakra is your throat chakra, and it's going to be right here on your throat. I mean, duh. It's right here on your throat. Your sixth chakra is your third eye chakra. You're probably familiar with this, even if you're new to it. You've probably heard of someone talking about their third eye. That's right here in the middle of your forehead. And then your seventh chakra is your crown chakra, right here on the crown of your head. This is where divine energy flows in and out. It's actually all pretty simple once you start to wrap your mind around it. Someone explains it to you, and then you start comprehending it, and you're like, oh, well, that's not so bad. It may seem intimidating, all this information and all these different things. It may seem intimidating when you first start learning about it, and then you realize it's not that big of a deal. It's pretty simple. The next thing you need to know about your chakras is that they can get blocked or imbalanced. They can get out of whack. Just like if you have long hair and sometimes your shower drain gets clogged with hair, you have to go in and clean it out and get it running right again. And the same thing can happen with your chakras. There are a lot of things that can cause them to be out of balance. It can be related to past lives. It can be related to earlier in this life. It could be related to something you're doing today. You know, any kind of traumas, anger, illness, any kind of baggage that you're carrying. You know, if you need therapy, you're guaranteed to have some chakras that are blocked. Any kind of negative self-talk or limiting beliefs that you've picked up along the way will cause them to be out of balance. You know, if you were raised in a really religious home and you were taught that sex is bad or something to be ashamed of or embarrassed of, that's going to affect your sacral chakra. If you were told by your dad when you were little that you were fat, or told by your brothers all the time that you were ugly, or you had an ex-partner say something horrible, you know, that might affect your solar plexus. Your self-confidence and your personal power diminishes a little bit. So any kind of that kind of baggage or trauma will knock those chakras out of whack. And when that happens, it's important to get in there and clear that clog to get them balanced again. Why, you may ask? Because if and when they get out of balance or they're blocked, it can cause all kinds of symptoms in your body. It can literally cause disease or pain or different ailments or emotional issues. A good example of this is my throat chakra. When I first started my spiritual awakening, my guides had me meditate on my heart chakra and focus on that for the first couple years, and then they moved to my throat chakra. So it was heart and then throat. Those were my top two. And when I first started meditating on my throat chakra, my throat was a mess. I constantly had some kind of upper respiratory infection. My lungs were a mess. My asthma was bad. I always had bronchitis. My voice was very gravelly and hoarse all the time. I had laryngitis a lot. My allergies were out of control. I was a hot mess. When my guides explained to me that your throat chakra is really, it really benefits from speaking your truth in as kind and loving a way as possible. And I started meditating. I started doing the work to clear up that throat chakra. All of these issues tended to like dissipate. They kind of cleared up and healed. I rarely have trouble with any of that stuff anymore. But I have to stay on top of it, because while I'm a very direct person, I wouldn't say I'm confrontational, not in an aggressive, ugly way, but I'm confrontational in the sense that if there's any kind of an issue, I want to face it. Let's talk about it right now so that we can get it healed and put away and get back to peace between us. Do you know what I mean? So, but while I can be confrontational, I'm also a peacekeeper. And that's some baggage I'm still working on healing too. I'm a peacekeeper because I was raised in an environment where like we needed to keep the peace. And so I tend to, even if something's bothering me, I hold it inside and I don't say anything. And it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds until I explode on you. And that's no good. That is not beneficial to having a healthy throat chakra. So that's something I have to deal with in order and stay on top of in order to keep my throat chakra clear. You know, I have to remember that, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Things need to meet all of those qualifications before you're allowed to really confront somebody. You can't just be brutally honest. There should be no brutal in it. It should be kind, right? You can speak whatever truth you need to speak with kindness. And you shouldn't just speak truth for the sake of speaking it. Like, is it necessary? Is this going to bring healing in some way? Is this going to affect positive change in some way? Or are you just speaking truth because you can and you know it's going to hurt them for no real reason at all? It wasn't necessary. You're just doing too much. So keep that in mind. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? So I have to really work on that and stay on top of that in order to heal this throat chakra. And I wouldn't say that it's healed. I wouldn't say I'm great at it, but I'm way better than I used to be. I'm way, way, way better. Another reason that it's important to get to know your body and your chakras is because you can pay attention to what you need to do. You can get that biofeedback that your body is giving you right away, and you can know what your body needs. You can be like, oh, that's this. Let me take care of this in that chakra, and that might help this ailment I'm having. It's important to keep track of how your behavior affects your chakras. Like I just talked about with the throat chakra. Like if I have a day, if I'm having a really rough day, and I've done a lot of complaining. I've done some gossiping. I'm probably going to have issues with my throat chakra that night. My throat might be acting up. I might be putting myself at risk for my asthma acting up, for some kind of an upper respiratory infection. You know, your lungs just don't feel right. Maybe your allergies act up. I'm not saying that's always the case, but start using it as a tool to stay on top of the physical ailments. Pay attention to how the energy and your behavior affect the physical body. Right? I would suggest incorporating chakra work into your routine spiritual hygiene and your daily maintenance, honestly. Either during your meditations or maybe with the color that you wear. You know, if my throat chakra was acting up, I would wear a lot of blue. I'm not really a blue person, but you know, for a time there when I was working on this, I did. And I found that I was drawn to like blue in my decor and whatnot. And I never have blue in my home. It's just not a color I'm drawn to. But during that time where I was working on my throat chakra, you better believe like I had all kinds of blue, not even intentionally. It's just I was drawn to it. So yeah, if you're working on your heart chakra, or you're feeling like my heart feels kind of closed right now, I'm just not caring about anybody. I need a little bit more compassion. I've got to tap into that heart a little bit more. Maybe you should wear green that day. Know what I'm saying? Have a salad. Eat something green. And then set the intention that let this color bless my heart chakra. But we're going to get into all of those individual chakras in the subsequent videos. So I hope that you find those and follow along. I hope that this series blesses you and helps enhance your spiritual practice and lets you get to know yourself a little bit better. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, if you have any questions. And if you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe and the like buttons, because only about half of you, maybe a little more, are subscribed, and I'd like to see that number go up. All right, you guys, go find some joy. Until next time.